Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the distance learning program. It's great to be with you, and I hope everybody's doing well. I'd like to begin by finishing up with Lesson 5C on page 63 before we begin 5D. But we were talking in the last video about using yet and already when we make questions and answers about events that have happened in the past. Now remember, when you make a positive answer, you use already. And when you make a negative answer, you use yet. Now sometimes you can just answer with a short answer and you can say yes I have or no I haven't. And that's what we're going to do on page 63. Here are a few questions and a few short answers. So look at part B on page 63. It says, talk with a partner. Jamie and Andrea are helping at their school's fundraiser. Ask and answer questions about them. Use yet. So, if you want to know if a task has been completed, then you ask the question using the word yet. And you can say, has Jamie bought refreshments yet? And the answer is affirmative, so the answer is yes, he has. Then, has Andrea set up the tables yet? The answer is negative, so it's no, she hasn't. Now let's take a look at the brown box to the right, and it says culture note. A fundraiser is an event where people collect money for a school, an organization, or a cultural activity. Now I'd like to look at the yellow box below the blue one, and it says things to do before the fundraiser. Now these are tasks that Jamie and Andrea have either completed or they have not completed. And the ones that have been completed have a check mark by them. The ones that have not been done don't have a check mark. So for Jamie, the tasks are buy refreshments, borrow more chairs, call the chair rental store, get name tags, and pick up the DJ. And for Andrea, the tasks that she needs to work on are set up the tables, organize the volunteers, make the food, bring the music CDs, and put up the decorations. So remember, the ones that have check marks have been completed, and the ones that don't have check marks have not been done. So, the next part says, write sentences about Jamie and Andrea. Use already and yet. So remember, if it's a positive or affirmative statement, you want to use already. And if it's a negative statement, you want to use yet. So here are some examples. Jamie has already bought refreshments. Andrea hasn't set up the tables yet. Now for part B, if we want to make statements about these different tasks, we could say Jamie has already borrowed more chairs because there's a check by borrow more chairs. But if you want to say that he has not done a task, then you would say Jamie hasn't called the chair rental store yet. Or Jamie has not gotten name tags yet. Or finally, you could say Jamie has not picked up the DJ yet. Now take a look at the tasks for Andrea. Since there's no check mark by set up the tables, you would say Andrea has not set up the tables yet. Or you could say Andrea has already organized the volunteers. or she has already made the food, or she has already put up the decorations. But since there's no check by bring the music CDs, you would say Andrea has not brought the music CDs yet. Now let's look at part 3 here, communicate. It says work with a partner, ask and answer questions, complete the chart. Have you done your homework yet? You could simply say, yes, I have. And that's the short answer. Have you already paid your bills? No, I haven't. And that's the short answer. Notice that you can use either already or yet in questions, but in answers, when it's a positive answer, you use already, and when it's a negative answer, you use yet. Finally, you can answer these questions about activities individually. You can answer those yourselves. You can say the answer to this question: have you done your homework yet? Have you paid your bills yet? Have you gone to a baseball game in this country yet? Or have you read the newspaper today? The next part of the lesson is going to be a review of a concert. And we're going to also learn about positive and negative adjectives. So we'll be turning to page 64 in the Ventures3 book. But before we get started, I'd like to talk about a review. Have any of you ever read a review of a play or a newspaper article, or maybe maybe you've read a book, maybe you've read a review of a book, and you're curious about what is the opinion of another person who has already read the book? Because if you haven't read it and you're wondering if you should read the book, you might want to get somebody's opinion who has read the book. So a review it's just simply an article that gives the reviewer's opinion about a place, a book, a play, a movie, or an event. So that's what a review is. You might say, well, where would you find a review? Well, you can find a review in newspapers or in magazines. And then finally, it says, why would you read a review? And the answer to that is pretty easy. You would probably read a review so that you could determine whether you want to spend your money on going to see a movie, or whether you want to buy a book, and you want to get another person's opinion to find out if they believe that the book or the movie was good and that it was worth spending your time to either read the book or watch the movie. So the next part of the lesson is going to be this article here, The Salsa Stars at Century Park, on page 64. And before we read it, I'd like to ask you these two questions. Do you like salsa music? I'm sure many of you have heard salsa music. It has a lot of rhythm, and usually there are lots of instruments that are being played, and it's very popular in Latin American countries. So if you really enjoy salsa music, you would answer yes. If you don't like it, well, then you would just simply say no. Question number 2. Have you ever gone to an outdoor concert? Where and when? And remember, in this unit, we're talking about community activities, And we said that outdoor concerts are usually at parks or maybe at an outdoor arena where people can go and listen to the concert. So if you've been to an outdoor concert, you would just say yes, and you would answer where and when. Now we're going to read the review, Salsa Stars at Century Park. So please follow along on page 64. If you missed the outdoor concert at Century Park last Saturday evening, you missed a great night of salsa music and dancing, and the admission was free. The performers were the popular band Salsa Stars. Bandleader Ernesto Sanchez led the five-piece group and two dancers. Sanchez is a versatile musician. He sang and played maracas and guitar. The other musicians were also superb. The group's excellent playing and great energy galvanized the crowd. No one sat down during the entire show. However, the evening had some problems. At first, the sound level of the music was excessive. I had to wear earplugs. Then the level was too low. The change in sound was irritating. In addition, the stage was plain and unremarkable. I expected to see lights and lots of color at the performance. The weather was another problem. The night started out clear. By 10 p.m., some ominous black clouds moved in, and soon it started to rain. The band intended to play until 11, but the show ended early because of the rain. Century Park has free concerts every Saturday evening in July and August. If you haven't attended one of these concerts yet, plan to go next weekend, but take an umbrella. Now I'd like to answer the questions to see if you understood the reading. If you'll turn to page 65, you can look at part 3 after you read, and we're going to answer these questions. Question number 1 says, read the first and last paragraph of the concert review. What is the author's purpose for writing this review? So we're looking to see if we can determine what the purpose of writing the article is. In the first paragraph, it says, if you missed the outdoor concert at Century Park, you missed a great night of salsa music and dancing. And then in the last paragraph, it says Century Park has free concerts every Saturday evening in July and August. If you haven't attended one of these concerts yet, plan to go next weekend. So it seems to me that the author wants to recommend attending this concert. He wants to talk about the concert in this article, and it sounds to me like it was a great evening. He says that in the first paragraph, and then he says if you haven't attended one of these concerts, plan to go next weekend. So I would say that the author wants to recommend attending the concert. Number 2, where did Salsa Stars perform? Well, that's simple. It tells you in the very first paragraph, it says, if you missed the outdoor concert at Century Park last Saturday evening, you missed a great night of salsa music and dancing. So the concert, it was performed at Century Park. It tells you that in the first paragraph. Number 3 says, what were 2 positive and 3 negative things about the concert? Well, the first positive piece of information, it's about the band leader. It says band leader Ernesto Sanchez led the 5-piece group and 2 dancers. Sanchez is a versatile musician. he sang and played maracas and guitar. So that's a positive piece of information. The second positive piece of information is the next statement. It says, the other musicians were also superb. The group's excellent playing and great energy galvanized the crowd. Now we want to find 3 negative things about the concert. So let's check the next paragraph. It says, at first, the sound level of the music was excessive. I had to wear earplugs. So it means the sound was too loud. And then the sound was too low. The change in sound was irritating. So that's the first negative piece of information. The second negative comment, it says, I expected to see lights and lots of color at the performance. So it says the stage was plain and unremarkable. So that means it did not meet the expectations of the reviewer. And then finally, the third piece of information that's negative is the weather was another problem. The night started out clear. By 10 p.m., ominous black clouds moved in, and it soon started to rain. So that's the third piece of negative information. Next, what phrase in the article mean the same as also? Well, in addition means also. So right here where it says, in addition, the stage was plain and unremarkable, that phrase means also. The next question. Did the audience like the concert? How do you know? Well, the answer to that is yes. And the reason we know that is because at the end of the second paragraph, it says, the group's excellent playing and great energy galvanized the crowd. No one sat down during the entire show. So that indicates that the crowd enjoyed the concert. Number 6, how do you think the reviewer rated the overall performance? Find the words in the reading that support your opinion. I would say that the reviewer rated the concert excellent because, like we said earlier, it says Sanchez is a versatile musician. He sang and played maracas and guitar. The other musicians were also superb. It says their playing galvanized the crowd. So that means that the crowd enjoyed the concert. So I would say he rated the concert excellent. Now let's look at part B. This is vocabulary that I would like for you all to learn. It says, find these words in the reading and underline them. Which words are positive? Which words are negative? And what clues helped you guess? So I'm going to tell you whether the adjectives are positive or negative, and I'll give you the clues that would indicate whether they're positive or negative. First, versatile is positive. And the clue is he sang and played maracas and guitar. That means he's able to play several different instruments. So he's versatile. Superb. That's a positive adjective. The clue is excellent playing. Number 3, galvanized. That's positive. The clue would be energy and no one sat down. Excessive. That's negative. The clue is I had to wear earplugs. 5 is irritating, and that's negative. The clue is then the level was too low. Number 6, unremarkable. That's negative. The clue is plain. And 7, ominous, that's negative. And the clue was black clouds, and it began to rain. Finally, in part C, you can talk with a partner and do the following. Number 5, there are 5 different things that you can do. You can tell your partner about a superb restaurant, tell about a versatile artist, tell about an irritating experience, tell about an unremarkable TV program, or tell about an event that was canceled because of ominous weather. All right, that concludes today's lesson, and I hope that you enjoyed it, and I'll see you during the next video. Have a great day.